step back, watch a few FTR tapes. They'll recognize the glory of tag team wrestling, and they'll pick up some pointers, because one of the things that I have to say tonight, man, did we see a lot of new faces on AEW Dynamite tonight. Man, did we see a lot of new tag teams on AEW Dynamite tonight. But, man, none of them are FTR, baby. None of them are FTR. These guys are freaking badass. I love the new shirt. The jackets are on point. But, man, that new shirt that Cash has going on there, Fear the Revelation, looks phenomenal. And, boy, did Dax cut when he ripped that headset away from Excalibur. And he cut that promo about, this is how I feed my family. And I know Bonds talked about it in his biggest moment of the night. Anytime wrestling blurs that line, anytime wrestling connects to your personal life or allows you as a fan to get engaged in the story and feel what the characters are feeling, that's when you know you got gold. And I'm sorry, but for FTR to recognize that AEW's caught in on this new trend of bringing all these tags and team divisions in and loading up their division and, getting the roster all stacked with all these tag teams. Half of them couldn't even lace up FTR's boots, baby. I loved what FTR said tonight. I think that, them going against Jungle Express is an interesting pairing. I really, really, really think that could lead to some great matches. I know you're a huge Luchasaurus fan and that you think Jungle Jack has a really, really bright future ahead too. I mean, that guy that's a nice pairing of two teams here at SPD. What were your thoughts on that promo and of the ongoing feud between the old school FTR and the even older school prehistoric Lucha Express?
The prehistoric, I have to go back and rewatch this promo because honestly, I kind of missed a little bit of it because of the unexpectedness to it. I loved the concept behind it, taking the headset away and talking into the headset versus grabbing a microphone in the ring or backstage. It made it even more meaningful and more intimidating. And, Dax was really like spitting fire, and I was just like, nonstop. He was just, whoa, it was just really impressive stuff. And so the low blows that he was throwing for the Jurassic Express and Luchasaurus, it was great, man.
These guys are really such good heels. I mean, they're such good heels. They always find a way to poke fun at their opponent or to shit talk their opponent in a way that makes you as a fan. I mean, for me, I love them, but man, for 99% of the fans out there, they got to just be like, wanting to see these guys get their comeuppance, and they're so good at that. I love how FTR reminded the world tonight that they're the number one tag team in the world, and that they're not going to apologize for it, and they're not going to get passed over by a bunch of people with the resumes that don't have half that they do. I mean, this is a tag team that legitimately has won the Raw tag team titles, the SmackDown tag team titles, the NXT tag team titles, and the AEW tag team championships. You have to put respect on their name. I'm sorry. Yep. And for me, anytime I talk tag team wrestling, I know that there's so many different styles of wrestling out there, but I always compare the teams to FTR because these guys are guys that do their homework. They study the sport. They study the greats, and they integrate it into their approach. I mean, practice makes perfect, and I think that anytime you get an opportunity to interview a sport, like people who are in sports and they recognize the history before them, the legends before them, you can tell those are the types that are pushing themselves and trying to learn. Because when we keep ourselves in our own little bubble, we can become really good just by our own inner talents and hard work and all of that, right? That can drive you and get you to somewhere where you can become really, really good at something. But to transcend that, you have to be willing to step outside of who you are and be humble enough to recognize that there have been people who have done it before you or who are doing it now that do it better than you did. Yep. They might not be you. There's never going to be another you, right? But there are things that you can constantly learn from the people that have come before you. And I think that is something that really makes FTR stand out, man. Those guys are always trying to learn little nuances and skills to make themselves better. And I think that that's why they're the best in the world now. And that's why they're going to be the best in the world for a long, long time. AEW has something. They have something here, brother. This tag division with FTR and the Young Bucks as the leaders, with all these young teams that are trying to make a name for themselves. I really, really, really think that the foundation of this company is in good hands with this tag division. I cannot wait to see what FTR has in store for us in 2020.